Summer is over. The temperature has become comfortable, and Main-chan is sleeping with her stomach out in peace. How are you doing? Do you know Ed Big Daddy Roth? Ed Big Daddy Roth is an American artist, illustrator, cartoonist, the Rat Fink creator of the hot rod icon. If you like custom cars, you have probably heard the name Rat Fink at least once. Have you ever heard of the Rat Fink? A sweating rat with popped out eyes is the Rat Fink. He is small, fat, and always attracting flies around him. In the past, plastic models were developed in Japan under the name Out of Mind Monster. Japanese name Otobuk Monster. One of them, Rat Fink, was sold in Japan as a plastic model under the name Gigi. It was launched in Japan in the 1980s, and I think it was quite popular at the time. Let's mention here the plastic model of this weirdos. Bill Campbell, box art director at HAWK Corporation, inspired by the design of the Ed Ross hot rod monster I mentioned earlier. He designed and sculpted a figure of a monster riding in a hot rod car, and brought it to HAWK Corporation. It was so highly acclaimed that it was hastily marketed as a plastic model. This time, we introduce Endsville Eddie from Weird-OHS series. We will assemble and paint it. The model we will be building this time is the Weird-OHS Endsville Eddie assembly type plastic model released by HAWK. This plastic model was originally released in the 60s and was reprinted in 2006. Weird-OHS once collaborated with Testers Corporation on a computer animation.
Get ready, here we go. Sky's always clear, driving drops of widow, even baby has turbo. The racing father Nero, Eddie, he's a hero. Take your lost steering wheel, sister Porsche squeeze a piece, so hurry up and stop the show. Mama, big daddy, go, get away, he's the most screaming around the turn. Carry on and QE, speeding past Louis, their engine's gonna burn. Take you ready, baby, Porsche waiting, baby, are all about to crash.
This animated program aired on US and Canadian television from 1999 to 2000. Unfortunately, it was only produced for 13 episodes, Season 1. Let's take a look at the contents of this model kit. Quintessential American kit. Inside the bag, the parts are as cluttered as any toy box anyone has ever owned. It's a very nice retro kit, with a retro atmosphere. Unlike recent Japanese model kits, it is not molded in multiple colors, but in all white. It's a kit that is designed to be colored. It seems that model kits were also released that did not require coloring. I want the suspiciously glowing glow version. This was the part's introduction. Now, let's move on to the tentative assembly. In temporary assembly, we use masking tape, not glue, to temporarily attach the parts. Although no detailed parts have been attached, the assembly of the main body is considered to be tentatively completed. Now that the temporary assembly is ready, we will go on to remodeling, putty, and surface finishing. In the book A Weird-O World, The Art of Bill Campbell, I found a design that seems to be an early design at Endsville Eddie. The Endsville Eddie design alone was the subject of several drawings. The black and white design drawing has a more tragic face than the monster in the box art. The vehicle looks like a rampaging horse. It looks like a rodeo. The color design drawing is similar to the box art. The design is similar to the box art, but there are slight differences in the vehicle and the monster's face in terms of detail. The comical feeling is a little less. We decided that the refined design adopted for the box art was the best. I thought that the comical design of the character and the cuteness of the vehicle could be modified to be similar to the box art without destroying the original modeling of the plastic model as much as possible. I wanted to keep the toy feel of the character and make it more approachable. Well, let's see. Let's take a look at the face of the kit first. The kits are far from box paintings. But the kit's face is charming and looks good when painted. When modifying the face or vehicle, the parts that can be glued should be glued first. Glue the monster body and the vehicle body. Now, do the parts fit well? Well, I can't say it's good because it's a re-release of an old kit. But the fact that it has the shape of the plastic model of that time is very much appreciated. The misalignment of the parts can be corrected with putty or shaving. The inside of the vehicle body is reinforced with a plastic board attached to prevent misalignment. The vehicle is not in bad shape. However, the wall thickness of the plastic model is thin. You can see the reinforcement of the inner plastic plate through it. The parts that could be glued are now glued. The next process is modification. Come on, remodeling. Let's start with the face. I will not do major modifications, but I am prepared to putty and detach parts to some extent. I will try to make the face as close to the box art as possible, but I will modify it so as not to destroy the original kit's shape. The first step is to draft the eyes in pencil to make them look similar to the box art. After drawing the eyes with a pencil to enhance the image of the finished product, next, start putting in epoxy putty around the mouth area to bring it closer to the image. Before applying the epoxy putty, the kit itself must be polished. Apply epoxy putty around the eyes as well. Roughly cut the surface with a desiccant knife, and repeat the process several times to create most of the face shape. The teeth around the mouth were also cut out with a design knife and new teeth were remade. The teeth are sharp in the box art, but we made them a little round and thicker with a toy taste. Spray primer surfacer to shape the entire face. In addition, primer surfacer is sprayed on the body of the car that has been finished to some extent. Primer surfacer is sprayed on the surface, and the underfinished areas are further puttied and polished to clean up the surface. The skeleton on the shift knob was also a realistic skeleton design in the kit, so we changed it to a comical and cute design like the box art. The vehicle has also been modified. The eyelids of the cute eyes were molded with epoxy putty, just like the box art. I painted the mouth black in advance and then glued the face on. It is extremely difficult to paint the mouth afterwards. I would also add an anchor-like shot-stop mechanism on the left side. Drill an oval hole in the same position as on the right side, using a pin vise and a stick file to shape the hole. The body of the anchor will also be molded and added. The exhaust muffler is also modeled with epoxy putty according to the box art. Masking tape is attached to the body to prevent the body from sticking to the exhaust muffler. When most of the parts are in place, the next step is painting. Color scheme setting materials were listed in A Weird-O World, The Art of Bill Campbell, so I used that as a reference to select the paint. Let's start with the vehicle body. First of all, we prepared Mr. Color, a paint for plastic models sold by Creus, which is relatively easy to find at any plastic model shop in Japan. And a color dedicated to a robot plastic model called Daogram from Gaia. Gaia color paints are especially popular and sometimes hard to find. Gaia has also developed other interesting paints. We hope to introduce them at another time. I digress, but in the case of Creus paints, the number 1 Cool White GX is the base color for the base coat. Number 4 Yellow Gradient. Number 51 Orange Gradient base color. Number 113 RLM04 Yellow Gradation and Helmet base. Gaia Color Gaia Diagram Color CB02 Red Vehicle base. The following are the basic base. Honest Iwata Corporation Highline Series Airbrush HP is used for overall painting. The nozzle cap comes with a round nozzle cap and a flat nozzle cap. 0.5 mm in diameter. The large handpiece diameter makes it ideal for painting large surfaces. With flat spraying, you can paint as if you were painting an actual vehicle. Plus, you can replace it with a round spray cap nozzle for rough shadows. Red has a weak hiding power and the gray of the underlying surface shows through, so first apply white to prevent the gray from showing through. After that, paint the car body with a bright orange color to make the red color even better. Once the orange is painted, use a shade of red to create a gradation of shadows in the bottom and other intricate areas. After the base paint of the vehicle is dry, apply the decals. I was going to paint the stripes and eyes on the vehicle, but since decals are included, I decided to apply the decals this time. I tried decals on the Space Marine, but this is my first experience with large decals like the stripes on this vehicle. I am very excited. The included decals are hard to apply. So I used this Mr. Mark Setter from Creus. It is a solvent that softens decals, or slide marks, so that they adhere firmly. Before applying the vehicle stripes, apply Mr. Mark Setter to the vehicle itself and apply the decals over it. After that, adjust the position and remove air bubbles with a soft brush. To further adhere the decals, apply Mr. Mark Setter to the decals and gently remove the solvent. This is the end of the decal process. While the car decals were drying, I painted the base of the helmet yellow. Helmet base RLM04 yellow was semi-glossy, but I plan to paint the vehicle and helmet with glossy urethane clear, so there is no problem. Next we duplicate the anchor for the shot stop function on the left. The mold is made of thermoplastic elastomer and is called Umaru or Katatori Kun in Japan. Thermoplastic elastomer softens in hot water around 90 degrees Celsius while the elastomer is hot and soft. It is pressed against the original shape and cooled to a hardness like silicone rubber to make a mold. Once the mold is made, a duplicate is made with epoxy UV resin. These items are easily available at 100 yen shops in Japan. Once the resin is poured, carefully remove any air bubbles. Once the air bubbles have been removed, use an ultraviolet light to cure the resin. When the decals have dried properly, clear urethane paint is applied to the car body. The handpiece is the same as before. Lacquer over urethane paint should be avoided as it may cause the urethane paint surface to shrink. Therefore, mask the area to be coated with lacquer paint later. In the vehicle, the engine part is masked. The cap nozzle is a cap for flat blowing. The urethane clear is a 3-to-1 clear called Hyper Clear H from ROHK Company. It dries relatively quickly and seems to give a nice finish. Paint the whole thing once, take a little flash off time, let the surface dry a bit. This will prevent the second coat of clear from dripping. This is repeated several times until the desired shine is achieved. After a few hours, after making sure it was dry, I removed the mask, covered the vehicle body except for the engine, and sprayed the engine with glossy black. The reason for spraying the glossy black is to use Gaia's premium chrome silver. This silver has a fine and beautiful base finish, and the more black luster there is, the more beautiful the chrome-like silver will be. By the way, the engine had a final finish of about 1800, but I wanted the shift knob skeleton to be shiny, so I used a final 3000 finish to get this finish. The final stages of the project are currently underway. The sides of the helmet were covered with masks and painted with handpieces. The arrows were painted with the familiar Citadel color base, piston red with a brush. After redrawing the design on the back of the helmet 3 times, I settled on this one. After this, the surface was painted and coated with urethane clear. The body and face are also finished with water-based paints such as Citadel color. The details will be explained in the completed images. The exhaust muffler was reshaped with epoxy putty to make it look more like the box art from the original shape. The shape of the exhaust port was enlarged to match the box art. I wanted to make the muffler a little less shiny, so I painted it black with 800 grit and painted it with Gaia Premium Chrome. The last of the assembly and painting retro rocket booster, but I lost it while I was working. I couldn't find it in my small workroom. I made it by converting the case of the needle of the handpiece which I had kept in my desk. Finished a little thicker. I can't deny that it's handmade. I think it's a good result for making it in a hurry. Finally, create a simple base for decoration. Attach a styrene board to a photo frame purchased at a 100 yen shop, add a little unevenness with sandpaper, polish it, apply a thin layer of modeling paste gel medium series coarse pumice gel, dry it, and polish it lightly. Asphalt part removes a little rough surface with sandpaper. After installing the signboard and bricks, paint the groundwork of the signboard bricks with sand color. I painted the asphalt part like asphalt. In the area where the shot stop anchor was pierced is cracked. We have completed it. Now, while looking at the finished product, I will talk about the remodeling points and reflection points. Why the face with epoxy putty to make it look like a comical box painting? We compared the modified face with the original model image and the painted image without modification. Although the original model is cute enough, I tried remodeling it into a box art style this time. How do you like it? Fixed the angle of the hand and the position of the arm so that the handle of the junk part can be held. Modification to shorten and angle the tongue. Change of brake pedal shape and shaft shape. Made by knitting shot brake rope with 1mm aluminum wire. I attached a lump of asphalt to the anchor of the left shot brake and bent the aluminum rope to make it look like it was going towards the monster. The helmet and body are painted with urethane clear on the lacquer base. Tires are lacquer black surfaces. After that, I painted the small parts with water-based Citadel colors. The face body of the monster adopts the Citadel system. Apply a light color on top of the black base, apply a shadow color to the hole, and adjust with a bright color. Change the shape of the shift lever and change the skeleton on the top of the gear knob. I changed the shape of the exhaust muffler with epoxy putty. The shift knob top, exhaust muffler, and engine are painted with Gaia Premium Chrome paint on a glossy black base. I made the Lost Retro rocket with my own plastic pipe, epoxy putty and junk parts. After that, I made the foundation and completed it. I tried various things this time. I was worried if I could do it properly, but he managed to complete it. This time, I aimed to make him look like a toy, but what do you think of him? If possible, I would appreciate it if you could give me a comment, as it will be helpful for future production.
How did you like the second English translation version? As it is written in the summary column, there will be time shift bookmarks for long videos from now on. Please take advantage of it.
In this program, I will introduce not only plastic models, but also retro toys, and things that I find interesting from Japan, although it is irregular. If you don't mind, please subscribe to the channel and leave your comments.
Let's meet again, everyone. Thank you for your viewing.